So if I was Daniel and I wanted to create a web page without using Google Sites or Dreamweaver or anything else, I'm going to go into text edit, but under format I'm going to say make plain text. What that means is it's creating an empty file. When you create a rich text file, by default it has other characters and code and stuff in it if you were to look at that. All that I have to do to create a web page I'm sorry, let me make this larger so that you can see what I'm typing.
Julie, what are you pressing right now?
We are using, let me just turn you to the page. I don't know if you can see the whiteboard when I get there, but he's looking at, he's creating in HTML the same thing.
Oh, okay.
Using a plain text document.
Okay.
Can you see the screen?
I think I can mimic the same thing on my screen.
Let's see, what if I do this?
He's making it larger for you, I think. There, can you see that? You may not be close enough.
It's a bit of like, it's a little just like electronic protection.
Sure.
But yeah, I think I'm good for now. Thank you.
Okay.
So
Thanks, Sarah.
what I just did is showed off a little bit. This is the minimum amount of HTML required to create an entire web page. Now, when I'm teaching a week-long web design workshop, I'll usually do a challenge for myself and I'll say, I can create an entire website in 5 minutes using code. And I'll quickly go through, I'll create one of these pages, then I'll do a save as like 5 times, so I have 5 pages for my website. And then I'll add a background color, and I'll add an image, and I'll add a title. And then at the last minute, I'll create a menu that'll bring you to all the different pages. But all I have to do is, this first line just says, I'm an HTML document. And an HTML document consists of 2 parts, a head and a body, just like us. But anytime I have a command in HTML, I have to eventually end that command. So it's like perfect partners, like emperor penguins. You know, you have mama penguin, you have daddy penguin, and they always have to be somewhere, although they're often wide apart, but eventually you're going to get back to HTML. So watch, I'm going to save this. I'm going to call it web page. Important though, if it's going to open, I need to make sure to change that extension, those last 3 letters, to be htm.htm or HTML. We'll do it the official way, HTML. I'm just going to save it to my desktop. Use HTML. Go back to my web browser and open it. Desktop, web page. What did it do? Well, it's displaying that text that I put, and that's the only text I had. It's telling me the address, which right now is running on my own computer. A web page does not have to be online for you to display it in a browser. So if you're working on your web pages offline, that's totally okay. But it also did this, which I like. Put the title on the top of the tab, or if I'm using a browser that has a toolbar all the way across the title bar, it would be up there. And if I was to add a bookmark this page, it's using that title for the name of the bookmark. That's a lot of information for just a couple lines of text. And if I wanted to make it more impressive, I can just add a few other lines of code. So, for instance, I could do add BG color equals red. Save it, go back here, and reload. So with just one property now, notice I did that within here. within my command, I added a property called background color. If I want it to be really fancy, I could say, instead of red, pound FF0000. Actually, let's do this. FF. What's that? I'm still saying background color. So what do you think this represents? Let's find out. I save it, go back here, reload. Purple. Let's go here, let's change these around. Let's say 0000FF. And reload. Blue. All right, how about 0FF00? 00FF00. Reload. Green. Wait a minute. So here, when this was FF and the rest were zeros, I got red. When this was FF and the rest were zeros, I got green. And when this was FF and the rest were zeros, I got blue. Red, green, blue. Am I ringing any bells from a few weeks ago? RGB. What's RGB? Remember when we were talking about Photoshop? What, Daniel? What's significant about the colors red, green, and blue on our computer? Remember? Do you remember? Oh, if I was really smart, I would have had it open and I could just go right back to it. Remember we had 3 circles 3 weeks ago? We had a red circle, a green circle, and a blue circle. And I said that when you combine those 3 colors, what do you get? Let's try it. Let's do it right here. Let's say I want FF is just hexadecimal for 255. That's not important. Just know that we're saying I want 255 of red. All the red I can have. And I want 255 of green, all the green I can have, and 255 of blue, all the blue I can have. I'm going to save it. What color is that going to make my background? Remember at the center we had white, and people were surprised. When I asked that 3 weeks ago, someone said, I said, what color would that make if we combine all 3? And someone said brown, or gray, or because it would if you were mixing paint and clay and all that. But in computer land, don't ask me how, but she could probably explain it. He might be able to. Why do we show all possible colors combining into the color white? John?
It reflects all color. Is that?
Well, kind of.
The black either absorbs it all, or the white absorbs it all.
Yeah.
When you have like a crystal and you have the light is shining through a glass, it's white. It's like all the colors. But if you have a prism and it breaks it apart, you have all the colors.
Right. So we have white light that goes into a prism and all the colors come out. So in the web land or computers or monitors, one of the things that I said a few weeks ago is that there are actually 3 colors of light being combined. And a pixel can only be 1 color. So you have to combine those 3 colors in a certain way to make 1 color. Pixel can only have 1 color and it can only be 1 size. Those squares, we zoomed all the way in and we saw that they had 1 distinct color. And they were all exactly the same size. So the same thing for the web. All that you can do on the web when you're designing your web page, basically, is combine these colors. You can have 255 values of red, 255 values of green, 255 values of blue. What does that really look like? Well, I'm going to do a Google search for HTML. Too fast. HTML color codes or hexadecimal. I actually love teaching hexadecimal when I have time. We don't have time. So you're off the hook. Because we still have websites to build and it's 4:36. So this is an example of 256 colors. And if I click on any one of these colors, it should give me a code, which it just did. 31 is the amount of red, B4 is the amount of green, and O4 is the amount of